Thanks, Molly and Lawrence. How inspiring was all of that. I want to thank them. And I want to start by thanking my team of ministers. In the Commons, I'm delighted to be helped by Damian Hines, Penny Mordaunt, Richard Harrington and Caroline Noakes, supported by Mark Pawsey, Peter Heaton-Jones and our whip Steve Brine. And in the Lords, all on his own, by David Freud. Lord Freud has been at the department for years and knows everything. The rest of us have been there 10 weeks and know slightly less. So we're all tremendously grateful to him, and I'm really pleased to have such a dedicated and talented team working at the DWP. Every citizen in this country values the welfare state. It's part of the British way of life. And as Conservatives, we believe in giving someone a helping hand when they need it. But this should be a hand up, not a hand out. We must always be hard-headed, but we must never be hard-hearted. A Conservative government will always offer that helping hand when it's needed. The left has always believed that you measure compassion by how much you spend. Conservatives know that the real helping hand involves giving people the chance to work, to earn, to progress, and to control their own lives. When William Beveridge set out his blueprint for the welfare state in the 1940s, he was clear that it should support opportunity, incentives to work, and personal responsibility. But at the same time, there must be a safety net for those who really need it. I believe in those principles. My vision is a welfare state that's fit for the world of work in the 21st century, that offers work for those who can, help for those who could, and care for those who can't. That responds to a dynamic economy, global labour, new technology, to new ways of working and new exciting ways of doing business. Because all those years ago for Beveridge, the world of work looked very different. It was a world where jobs were mostly done by men, almost all full-time, and often for one employer over an entire working life. All of that has changed. We've seen the decline of the old 9-to-5 and the rise of new kinds of flexible working, self-employment and entrepreneurship. There's been an explosion of tech platforms that change the way we live, but for many of us, change the way we work as well. You look at platforms like Hassel or TaskRabbit. They've changed what it means to be a cleaner or a handyman. You can now access hundreds of new customers in the palm of your hand, giving you control of your working life. And it's really important that government keeps up with these changes. That's why we've announced that we'll hold an independent review into today's economy and the new employment practices. And it's why I believe that the welfare state must also adapt to make sure people can enter this new world of work. Doing a job is for most people the best route out of poverty, but it's much more than that. Work is better for their self-esteem, their sense of worth, and their physical and mental health. I saw this in Trowbridge when I visited a garden centre run by the Shaw Trust. I met Katie, who has Down syndrome, and Matthew, who has learning disabilities. They absolutely love their jobs, serving in the cafe, tending the plants, helping customers. Projects like that, with government and charities working together, have the power to transform the lives of those who've been dealt a tough hand. We've already started this journey. We are building on the record of Ian Duncan Smith, who over 6 years poured his heart into welfare reform, as did his successor, Stephen Crabb. And we should thank both of them for the work they did. Because our approach of reforming welfare, making work pay, and supporting those who need the most help has transformed this country. There are 2.7 million more people in work than in 2010. We have more women in work than ever before. There are fewer children growing up in households where no one works. Nearly 500,000 more disabled people are in work than 3 years ago. We should be proud of that record. Universal credit, which sits at the heart of our welfare reforms, makes sure that you will always be better off in work. We will continue to expand the numbers receiving this much simpler and more work-friendly benefit. But also our job centres are now places of true transformation. There are people who still think of them as the dole office, with queues of people waiting to get some money from the person protected behind screens at the end of a lino-clad floor. It's the scene you see in the Full Monty while they've still got all their clothes on. Anyone who thinks of job centres like that would be pleasantly surprised by visiting a job centre today. No screens, no queues, no sense of sullen despair. Instead, with universal credit, work coaches are giving individual advice to each claimant, helping them take control of their own lives. This is the sign of a welfare state that works with the new economy. But to achieve this vision, we need to spread the chances of work to new groups of people, to disabled people, to older workers, and to those who want to work for themselves. Because it's imperative that how we support people keeps up with the way people work now. And there's a lot more to do. First, for aspiring entrepreneurs. And that's why I want to build on the success of our new enterprise allowance, which, as we've heard, has helped Lawrence set up the company that's going to take over the world over the next few years, certainly the cycling world. We will back budding entrepreneurs. We will make sure that they get help earlier and that they get the right support, help with financial planning and marketing, staying with them as they build their business, giving them every chance of success. Older workers, too, need the right support. We need to be clear about what's happening in today's world. We're not just living longer, we're able to work and earn and contribute for longer. These days, simply and gratifyingly, we are younger for longer. This generation of over 50s can combine the wisdom of experience with the fitness of youth. Maybe less so after 3 days at conference, but most of the time we can do this. So to make sure our older workers can make the most of the workplace, I'm appointing Andy Briggs, CEO of Aviva UK and Ireland Life, to be our new business champion for older workers. He will encourage other chief executives to recruit older workers, explaining the advantages they bring to his own firm. As an economy and as a society, we need the talents and experiences of older workers, and I'm determined that we will exploit those talents to the full. Of course, we still need to look after the 13 million people who are receiving the state pension. And we should pause, because one of the great social advances of our era gains almost no attention. In the 1980s, 40% of our pensioners lived in poverty. Today, that figure is down to 14%. It's an improvement which is never widely noted, but which is one of the best things to have happened in Britain in recent years, giving millions of people more dignity in their old age. We committed in our manifesto to help older people. That means protecting pensioner benefits and uprating the state pension by the triple lock, because our parents and grandparents deserve to have a secure retirement. So much good has been done, but there are still too many people trapped in the margins. Not just older workers, but anyone who struggles with a disability, who desperately wants to work, but faces barriers, prejudice, and a lack of proper support. And let's be honest, if you have a disability, you face all sorts of barriers. They've been built up over many years, in some cases many decades. They've become ingrained in the attitudes of employers and the prejudices of colleagues. We have made progress in breaking down old legal barriers and creating new legal protections for disabled people. Let's never forget in this party that the first Disability Discrimination Act was introduced in the 1990s under John Major's government by an up-and-coming young minister called William Hague. But now, in most cases, we need to be tackling attitudes, not laws. Those outdated attitudes about disability and disabled people have endured for far too long. I'm determined that we can help break down the barriers disabled people still face. Everyone, all of us, have been inspired by our amazing Paralympic athletes this summer. 64 golds, 39 silver, 44 bronze medals. A celebration of what people can do. And during the summer, we heard the stories of those who've overcome incredible obstacles, horrible, life-changing events, to compete on a global stage. Let's thank them for an incredible spectacle. Thank them for making our country proud. But why should we limit this kind of celebration of disabled people to once every 4 years? I want us to be ambitious for and inspired by the millions of people across the country who have similar disabilities, but who need the opportunity to fulfill their dream. People like Molly, who you've just heard from. The fact is, 7 million people of working age have a disability in this country. That's 7 million people who've been given a more difficult path than most of us. And as our Paralympic athletes prove, they are absolutely not to be written off. Most people do want to work, but far too many are denied that opportunity. I'm committed to helping disabled people. We will soon publish a green paper together with the Department of Health, setting out a range of policy ideas to help them show what they can do. And we're launching a competition for small businesses to find new, innovative ways to help anyone diagnosed with a health condition to stay in work. So I say this to anyone who wants to work. We stand with you. We will support you and will help you realize your dreams, to help you be the best you can be, to reach for your personal best and to achieve whatever goals you aim for. I will work tirelessly to give disabled people better life chances. It is the right thing to do. However, there will still be some who can't work, and it's our duty to support them properly. In particular, we should sweep away unnecessary stress and bureaucracy which weigh them down. If someone has a disease which can only get worse, making them turn up for repeated appointments to claim what they need is pointless bureaucratic nonsense. That's why I've announced that we will stop requiring people with the most severe lifetime conditions to be assessed again and again for their out-of-work benefits. If their condition is not going to improve, it is not right to ask them to be tested time after time. So we will stop it. To make this a country that works for everyone, we need a welfare state that works, that helps each individual contribute what they can and receive what they need, that allows people to develop their skills in the new world of work and doesn't trap them on benefits, that gives better chances to those people who travel a more difficult road. None of this is easy. All of it is necessary if we want a society and a country we can be proud of. No Conservative government has ever backed down from a tough but important job. You would expect a government led by Theresa May to take the challenge head on. We will do that, and with your support, we will succeed. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.